be running around and doing the fire on the mountain since we have enjoyed it a lot. Now, we now want to go into the instruction section, because our training has got a video part, and then it has this part where we are together and learning together. We are looking at this segment of games. That's the segment that we really want to look at together and see what we need to learn. So please do take your notepads as we are going to run through this in the next 30 minutes, and then we'll also discuss some of the things that are highlighted in this part. So I hope you are all ready. Now, we want to review the 3 main sections of the club. These are the 3 main sections of the club. Can we all see it? Hello? All right.
Yes, we can see.
All right.
Yes.
So we are saying that the club or the children's ministry has got 3 sections. The first one is game time. That's what we are concentrating on today. The second one is council time. Many people understand this as the Bible lesson time. This is where worship and other things will be. We will talk about this section next week. And then the team time is a time for small groups. And we will talk about it in the other week. So today we want to concentrate on game time, and we hope we will all learn together. Now, why do we have to do games? What is the purpose? Because some people might think, oh, we are not here to play. We are here to teach children the gospel and the word of God. Why are we even talking about games? The reason why we want to play games is we realize that game time attracts new boys and girls to Awana or to your children's ministry or club. And not only does it invite the new boys and girls, but also it keeps them coming week after week. May I reiterate to say, whenever we say Awana, you can cancel that and put the name of your church and put children's ministry and put club. Awana is just a brand, it's just a tool that we are giving out. So we're saying that games, they attract children to come and they keep them coming. When we look at the issue of games, we see that games are played in teams. When children come, we play in teams, and that is a contribution that it brings even to our children's ministry. Now, we want to first of all look at how do you divide teams, because if you don't divide them well, you are most likely to run into trouble. So the first thing that we want to talk about as we talk about game time is, how do you divide up teams? Well, there's so many things that have been written there, but if we're going to write a simple one, maybe in your notes, just write to say that the teams must be fair. The teams must be fair. Because children, they take these things seriously. And if your teams are not fair in their eyes, that can become a discouragement for them to come to your children's ministry. Now in Awana, this is what we do. We line them up according to their heights. As you are seeing in that illustration, when we line them up according to their heights, What we then do is we give out the 4 colors. In Awana, we use colors for teams. So the first one goes to red, the second one to blue, the third one to green, the fourth one to yellow. Now, let me explain this because this is very important. Many a times when people divide teams, they just call kids and say 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they go to the next one and say 1, 2, 3, 4. If you do that, you will notice that your teams will not balance. So for us, we use this 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we go to 4, 3, 2, 1. I hope you understand what I am saying there. So if you look at the first 4, the tallest went to red. When you look at the second 4, the tallest went to yellow, because yellow in the first round got the shortest. This time they are now getting the tallest. So that's what we do. Well, if you have many children, you make them into 4 teams. But if you have fewer children, you make them into fewer teams. So in our game illustration, we noticed that the children were not going to 4 teams. They were going into 2 teams because the children in that particular church, they are fewer. So they will not make up 4 teams. So that's why they have come into 2 teams. So I hope that one is very clear and it's helpful in terms of expressing how we divide teams. So if you have a question, please feel free to go ahead and ask it using a chat so that we'll be able to get time to address this question. So we have just looked at how do we divide the teams. We use height, and that's how we put them into that. Let's go on. As we go on, we now want to go into how do we divide the game time, because we talked about we have game time, but we need to know what happens in game time and what is it that we do. So how do we divide the game time? The game time is divided into 2 minor segments. The first one is what we call the opening ceremony. The opening ceremony works as a way of maintaining discipline and starting officially. I've seen in our country, in Zimbabwe, when children go to school, they just don't go about the things. There are days that they go to an assembly. And in that assembly, you know, they are reminded of the things that they need to do and all sorts of things. So this is like a way of starting our children's ministry, where you come up and do that. In the video, we saw children singing a national anthem in Zimbabwe. You don't have to follow everything. That was a demonstration, and you then need to be able to look at what is it that we do in our opening ceremony. So the opening ceremony takes 5 minutes, and game time takes 35 minutes. If you add those, they give you what? 40 minutes. Remember, when we did the first week, we said that our typical club is divided into 3 40-minute segments. The first one is game time. That's what we're talking about. And then the second one is time. We'll talk about it next week. And then the third one is team time. We'll talk about it in the other week. So this is how you subdivide that 40 minutes. Now, there's a point that is very important that we need to note there. If you play one game every 5 minutes, you will be able to play about 7 games. So it's very important when you are playing games to make sure that you are not spending a lot of time explaining, Also, it's very important that you are not just making kids play a game without explaining it, because they will make a mistake and you have to correct it again. So when you look at that, you will notice that game time is divided into two smaller segments: opening and game time. Let's continue to talk about the opening ceremony. The purpose of opening ceremony is to establish order and discipline at the beginning of the club or your children's ministry. I think this is common in every way. Even when you go to a conference, there's devotion. If you go to different places, there's a way of starting. That's what we are talking about. So what is it? It's just a brief session that may include the following. In the video, we saw the program director saying to the kids, everybody attention, and everybody got to attention. That allows you to say what you want to say without necessarily having kids running around. So when you get their attention, then you welcome them. And then after that, there is a call to say present color that we saw, and two boys marched to the center. In actual fact, in a full club, those are supposed to be carrying your national flag and an Awana flag. And then there is the national anthem. And then after that, there is a right hand salute. Now, the right hand salute, I'm not sure if we really saw it. The right hand salute, let me bring my video on so that maybe you might be able to see some of the things that I am talking about. When we talk about the right hand salute in army and police, you know, the way of, you know, saluting their superiors, we are not going to do that one. But when we say right hand salute, we're taking our right hand and putting it over our hearts like this. So this is what we call what? Right hand salute. So it's very important for us to be able to make sure that there is that right hand salute. And when you put your right hand salute there, that's when you can do the memory verses and some of the things that you choose to do in your opening ceremony. Let's go back to the PowerPoint that we are showing. Now, we have seen the right hand salute. The next one is, there's a theme song. I think you saw it. You can also see it and download it on our YouTube platform, Awana Africa. There are pledges to the Awana flag, pledges to the Bible. I like the pledge to the Bible. It reminds the children every day when you're in children's church to say that the Bible is our guide. It says that I pledge allegiance to the Bible, God's holy word. I will make it a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. I will hide God's word in my heart that I may not see. So that is what we call the pledge, the Bible pledge. And then we go into a time of reciting some key verses. Now, when we get to the key verses, each group has got a key verse, and one of them is John 3 verse 16. It's a well-known memory verse. And that memory verse is recited in our opening ceremony. May I ask us to mute ourselves if you are not speaking so that we don't disturb? And our co-hosts, please make sure that you can mute those that will be having volumes on. Thank you. I'm waiting for those ones that have a background music or something to mute themselves. All right, so after that, there is a command that says post colors, order arms. In those commands, you then allow it to go back into their places. And when they are in their places, they are then able to do the children's ministry. One moment, let me just mute this participant. All right, thank you. So we looked at the opening ceremony, and I think the major aspect is to say it takes 5 minutes. That's the major thing that we need to think about there. It takes 5 minutes. Now, as we go on, we want to then talk about the issues of attendance. In our children's ministry, we need to keep attendance. It's very important to do that. Attendance will help you when you report to your pastor. How is children's ministry? We have 15 kids, because you take a register. But if you don't take a register, you will say, there's a number. How many are coming? I'm not sure, pastor, but some of them come. So we want to encourage you to say when they are there, that's when you can check attendance. In the books that you are buying as churches, these attendance registers are there. You just need to photocopy them so that you'll be able to have one for each team. So if you have 4 teams, you have 4 registers, and the team directors work with their children to mark the register. So I think this is one thing that is there that we need to look at. As we go on, we now want to look at the roles or responsibilities that we need to feel if we are going to have a good game time. So the first person that we need is called a game director or a game leader. Game director or game leader is the same thing. Now, what does this person do? This person plans and directs game time. In the video that we saw, there were 2 game directors. Well, actually, the lady who was in white was a game leader, and somebody else also in red helped him. So that's the role that we're talking about. You don't come to the games and you start asking kids, oh, by the way, kids, what is your favorite game? Because if you do that, the other one will say Fire on the Mountain, the other one will say, I like relay, and then you choose Fire on the Mountain, and the kids will go home thinking the teacher favors this one. That's why they did that. So we want you to plan at home so that when you come, you are directing games that you have. Now, some of you might already be asking, where are we going to get all those games? In the pack of books that you are buying per church, there is a game book. And that game book has over 200 games. And I've been in Awana for a long time. There are some games that I have not even played. So that one is a very good tool. And we want you to learn how to use it and see some of the games. You've already seen them on the video, and you will be able to see them on WhatsApp, on YouTube and Facebook. And it will be easy for you to be able to get them. Now, let's continue to talk about what this game director does. Secondly, the game director controls the game time, maintains pace and discipline. We really need someone who is thinking about time, because it's easy to spend the whole time for your children's ministry just playing games. But we don't want that. We want them to play games. We want them to learn the Bible stories, Bible lessons, and we want them to do memory verses. So let's maintain the time that we are allocated. So that's the first role that we looked at here. Now let's go to the second role. The second role that we need for us to have game time, we need people that are called team leaders. These are the people that are standing on the line with the kids and helping them. If the game leader says, this is our game, the team leader explains it again in a language that the kids understand so that they will be able to know what to do. The team leader must be enthusiastic. The team leader must be an example. The team leader must not be the one who gets angry when the child fails to get the points. You get some leaders that are like that will start shouting at the kid. No, it's just about points. We want to encourage them. You must be an encourager and an example. The third role is about that one of a scorekeeper, the one who keeps the scores. When the kids are computing, they would want to see how their efforts are going to be appreciated. So it's very important that we need to make sure that the scores are kept. There's a story of a teacher who was not keeping scores and he was playing and says, this team wins, this team wins, this team wins. At the end, the kid says, which one won? And because he was not keeping scores, he said, this team. And now the kids knew, because they're going to school, they were calculating and they thought this teacher is cheating us. And the team that the teacher favored, and they saw a child who is related to the teacher, and in their mind, they concluded the teacher favors. And you don't want your children, your Sunday school children, to think of that when they think of you. So you need to have a scorekeeper who tallies points, who periodically announces points so that they will see how far they are lacking, and the scorekeeper assists the game leader. So far, we've talked about 3 people that we need for game time. We said game leader, team leader, and scorekeeper. Please remember this. When we're talking about scores, our books will give you a template like this. This is where you put your scores. Now, in terms of scores, we don't only give scores in game time. We give scores in game time, we give scores in council time, and in team time. So that's why it has different sections. And the scorekeeper is always listening. When the game leader says 5 points to blue, the scorekeeper makes sure that he writes those points in the right so that's what we are talking about. So this score sheet is also in the book. It's under Appendix 14 of your instructor's manual, and you will be able to get it there, and you can photocopy so that every week you have a new score sheet. May I continue to remind us that let's mute ourselves if you are not speaking so that we don't disturb. And may I remind my co-host to please go to the just go to the gallery view, and when you see a screen that is still making noise, you can mute it from there. Thank you. If you have any questions, like we said, please feel free to use the chat. Use the chat, write your questions on the chat to everyone, and we'll be able to see them and we'll be able to address them. So that's what we are doing. Now, we have looked at the Awana score sheet. And we are saying that every children's ministry that is doing something that's competitive should be able to have a place where they are keeping scores. Now, as we go on, we want to talk about the types of games that we can play. May I get help of someone to read for us those 3 types of games? You just unmute yourself and read for us those 3 types of games.
Okay, we have Awana games, square games. Number 2, indoor games. Number 3, outdoor game.
Thank you so much. So we have 3 types of games that we can play. So the first one is Awana Game Square. The Awana Game Squares are the games that we play on an arena that is an Awana Games. It's a square, and it has equal sides. And on that one, we would show you how to set it up, even in the book and other things. So though the games that are played on an Awana Game Square, the video that we watched showed us games that are played on an Awana Game Square. But we don't only play games that are on an Awana Game Square. We can also play games that are indoors. For instance, these days is quite very hot, and being on the sun with kids might not be a good idea. But if you have a building that has got enough space for you to play indoor games, you'll be able to also play indoor games. And there are also some games that you play outdoor, games that uses balls and other things. So in our game book, you will see that it has got all sorts of different games. And the game leader is the one who needs to plan to say, this week, what kind of games are we playing? So that's what we do. So there are 3 types, or 3 major groups of games: the Awana Game Square games, the indoor games, and outdoor games. Let's continue. So this is the game square that we were talking about. A square has got 4 equal sides, and each side is 12 meters. Each side is 12 meters. So if you want to remember how to do it, each side is what? 12 meters. You can draw this. You can buy materials that you can put as permanent. There's also game kits that are available for sale. We'll talk about that as we continue. Now, in terms of equipment, there are things that we use in Awana. We use pins, we use bin bags, we use buttons. Now, you can actually have professionally made material, or you can also be creative and use what you have. For instance, the button sticks, you can use the PVC pipes. You can use the old broomstick that is not being used, or you can have the proper kit. Bin bags are small little pillows, like a pillow for a doll, that are stuffed with beans or something there. And then the pins, you can use the empty container bottles, or you can have the colorful ones. So these are some of the equipment that you will need so that kids will be able to do well. Let's say you're doing a relay. It's either they need to touch each other's hand, or they need to pass something so that it shows that it's fair. So these are some of the equipment that we have. Now, I want to say that rules are very important when you're playing games. We are not going to go through one and one, but we're saying that rules are very important. If you don't specify the rules, some will not follow the rules and we would play the game in a different way and might end up getting points. And the rules are very important. So when you are playing games, please make sure that your children understand the rules. In the video, you saw that the game leaders were explaining the rules. Sometimes they were illustrating the rules by being an example before the children did that. And that's what we want to encourage you to do. Now, there are things that will help us to maintain excellent game time. And these are elements. The first one is what we call the 5-count system. We use it to discipline a big group. And I want you to think of how you can do it. In your church, you need to tell the children that whenever the leader stands up and starts counting, please don't help the leader, but know that he is saying, keep quiet and listen to the leader. So the leader raises up his voice or her voice and starts to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how you maintain order. It must be consistent. You must not say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. It must be consistent so that the kids can stop whatever they're doing and listen to you. For discipline, we also use positive points. We don't encourage negative discipline in Awana. Negative things like beating children because they are not listening. Because you might beat someone who is a kid who is not well and they is faint, and you have problems with the parents and they would have problems with your church. So we also do not do something that is negative. Let's say a team is winning and we say, because someone in your team is making noise, we deduct 50 points. If you do that, the team members will hate that little boy who was making noise, and they will not want him or her in their team next week. So we don't do anything that is deducting points or beating, but what we do is we give positive points. We look at those that are doing well and we award them, so that those that are not doing well, we will see that doing well is good. When you're playing games, there must be fast pace, there must be excitement and noise. Let me repeat again, and noise. Children like noise. So we need to give them that noise so that they enjoy. And there must be variety. This week we play different games. Next week, let's change. Let's not continue to play the same games. Let's not be lazy to just do the ones that we saw on the training. But let's read the book and see how we can do that. Now, we want to just show you the game arena that we use. That is a game square with the colors of the teams, and we see the one in red is the leader standing there and the children. We don't want a leader who is under an umbrella, under the shade, and the children are in the sun. No, you must be where they are so that you can control them and you can help them. So that's where the leader stands. That's where the team stands. The start line is the one that is marked here in black. So these guys start there and they run this way. So we call it anti-clockwise. In other words, the opposite side or the opposite direction of the clock. So that's how we do this one. And most of the games, they end at the center here. Some would end here, and you'll be able to see in your games the instructions of where the games end. Now, game rules, like I said, are very important. This is a clip that is showing us where the kids run. Please watch it nicely. There you go. All right. So the kid is running all the way and not cutting corners. Now, there's a question there that says, does this disqualify? I know that many of us will say, yes, it disqualifies. Well, the true answer, no, because at the corners they have not cut. But however, someone who does this is likely not going to win. Now, this is a typical standard 1, standard 2 kids. When you say go, they might start going the wrong way. You don't say you are out. You help them to go back again until they can finish. So running inside the circle is okay, but not smart, but it's okay. Now there's another question. This one is different from the first one. It says, does this disqualify? Someone has run all the way, but at the end, this person did not go right round. So this disqualifies. I think we can explain that more in some other places. So cutting corners is not allowed. Now, we want to take these questions down, and as we take these questions down, we are going to go into small groups and discuss these questions, and we'll come back from our small groups with a spokesperson and we'll report on this. So please try to discuss all of them. Don't just discuss 1 and 2, because when we come, we will just ask one group to answer the first one, the other one, the second one, the other one, the third one, in the interest of our time. So the first question is, how do we divide teams? How do we divide teams? The second question is, how teams are to line up. How are the teams supposed to line up? Do they line up behind each other? Do we have the red team lining up behind the yellow team? How do they line up? In other words, where do they stand? Number 3, what game time roles do you remember from the ones that we talked about? I think we talked about 3 game time roles. Which one do you remember? We talked about the 3 types of games where you can play them. I think we explored that one. So we want to hear that. And then the other one is, why is it important to follow rules? The last one, what do you think makes a game time successful? So those are the 6 questions that we're going to do. We will give each other 10 minutes. No, we'll give each other 7 minutes to discuss this so that we can come back and have feedback and also address questions. If you have any questions, please go ahead and send a chat of your questions so that we will be able to address them when we get to the end. If you have any questions or something that you want to understand, please feel free to do that. All right. Let me quickly get us into the groups again. Let me remind us the way that we're doing it. If you are in a group and no one is there, please ask for help from the administrator so that we will be able to put you somewhere. We want groups of 3 people and above. So if you are watching alone, please join a group. If you are watching the 2 of you, join with someone. If you have more than 3 people in your group, you can just sit in groups of 3 and discuss there. You don't necessarily need to join any particular group. I will try to make sure that I would help us better. I know that the first time I had trouble with allocating Leah into a group. My apologies for that. So please, let's go into these groups. Let's discuss. And then when we come back, we will be able to report back. So please, let's have someone who is writing down. Let's have someone writing down the things that you are going to do. All right. I'm opening the rooms for 7 minutes. Opening the rooms for 7 minutes. So let's quickly go there. Hello, Dilene, are you in a group? Hello?
Hi, Milton.
Hi, how are
Hello.
you?
I'm good, and yourself? My network is a bit bad. I hope you can hear me.
I can hear you. You are alone in this group, right?
Yes, sir.
Can
Seems that way.
I please move you to a group that has got some people?
Yeah, it's fine with me.
All right, I'm trying to move you now.
Awesome, thank you.
Hello. Hello.
You read the question?
Oh, wait, the type of
Say the answer. Eh? But you must speak a bit louder. You look here.
All right. May I remind us, please keep your mic on mute. Keep your mic on mute unless you are talking, so that we don't get all that feedback. So now we are just going to have feedback from this session. you are only allowed to answer one question of the 6. Please just answer one so that you don't get all the answers for everyone. So like I said earlier on, you raise up your hand if you want to say something, or if you are on video like me, if you do this, I will be able to see you and I'll give you a chance. Another way of also doing that, thank you, Hans. Another way of sending a contribution is just to send on the chat. On the chat you send to everyone and we'll be able to see it. Okay, so Hans was first and then Miss N second. So let's quickly have those feedbacks. Thank you. And then Leah third. Thank you, Leah. You're going to be on number 3. Thank you. All right, Hans, let's go for it. You are mute. All right, one moment. Yes, you can talk now.
Okay.
My name is Michelle Kotlafel. I'm here to present question number 3. What game time rules do you remember?
Look at that.
I remember the game time director controls the game and maintain the pace and discipline of the game time. Question number 5.
All right, you're only doing one because we want everyone to be able to participate. Thank you so much, Hans. Is there another group from Hans that is repeating?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, there is.
All right, let them come quickly. Let's have all the group from Hans come.
Okay, they are coming. They are coming. Please. Hey. No, they are coming.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Senolo Beauty Palichi from Hanti. I'm going to answer question number 1 and 2. How to divide up teams? We said we divide up teams according to their heights, and we will be using colors. Each team should have variety of ages. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, let's have another one.
Okay.
The groups in Hanti done?
Faster. Yeah, no, they are the last one.
All right, thank you.
Hey, introduce yourself. Let's look at the camera.
It's almost from and to present about question 6. What makes a game time successful? Game time attracts new boys and girls and brings them back after week after week. Thank you
so much.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's have Miss N, and then we are going to Leah after Miss N.
Greetings. It's Magdalene. I'm going to ask question 3. Which says, what game time role do you know or do you remember? We took team leader to say the team leader has to be enthusiastic. They have to set an example and they have to be an encourager. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, Leah, go ahead.
Yes, my name is Leah. I was in breakout room 3. So I'm going to answer question number 4. And it talked about the different types of games. So we noted it's Awana, indoor, and outdoor.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right.
All right, thank you.
Yes, let's have other people that I am not seeing any more hands, but it will be good if we have 2 or so that are going to share. Please raise up your hand or send a reaction. Yes, Malindela. Thank you. We can see a hand from Malindela. And then Stephen.
Greetings. We are doing number 5. Why is it important to follow the rules? We say it is important to follow the rules because rules help clubbers know exactly what is expected of them, and it gives each team a fair chance of winning.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Stephen. There was Stephen who was raising the hand.
Okay. I'll answer the question that says how teams are to line up.
Yes.
The teams are to line up at different sides of the Awana Square.
Thank you.
And that the team leader is supposed to be the one at the front of the line.
Thank you so much.
And I assume that the director is supposed to be at the center.
That's a good assumption, sir. Yeah, because the director needs to be somewhere at the center as long as he is not disturbing people from doing that. Any other group that wants to go last? Okay. Anyway, we thank God our time is actually 4 o'clock and that's the time that we want to finish. We want to thank you for joining. Want to apologize today. We had a bit of challenges with network and other things. But if you missed the videos, for the games, please check them out. I am sending them again in the chart, so that you can follow that and get our the games. We are also live streaming this one on Awana Botswana group, so you can get to it and watch it again. And then we are also on Awana Africa YouTube, and this meeting and many other resources, online resources are there. So it was good to have you around. I don't have any question. No one has sent any questions, so I'm assuming there are no questions. But if you have any questions, please raise up your hand now or send in the chat so that we can address it. If I don't have any hands, we'll call the meeting to an end, and we'll only remain in the meeting with some people that want to have one-on-one in terms of questions. I had sent on the group to say it would be good if you can take some pictures of people that are doing online and you send them to our WhatsApp group. I know that some of us might be wondering which WhatsApp group. So may I ask the administrators for the WhatsApp group to send your numbers quickly, Palanis, and then please send your numbers, Waruna, so that people can get to your inbox so that you can add them to the groups. So Palanis and Mam Kudzi, please send your numbers so that we'll be able to do that. There was a question, when will be the training, when will the live training be? Pastor Johannes, please explain your question again so that I will fully understand it.
So as we are doing online, actually we have got a number of people that are living out, so we are thinking maybe live training, I mean what we're doing right now, live in our localities maybe.
Okay. I think that one we are talking about it at national level. I think we are ready to do any training, provided the government is now allowing us to do that within the confines. So I think if there's any places that are ready for trainings, we will be happy to actually organize a physical training for you to be able to do that. But we need the information so that we can be able to plan. So those that are in Sakawe, there is a our coordinator there, Pastor Johannes, you are one of our key leaders there. You can gather information and share with your regional coordinator or Mam Kudzi. Those that are in the areas that are covered by Francistown, Palape, Malape, you communicate to the Mpalanis, and those that are in the south Gaborone areas, Sister Isabella or Mam Kudzi. And some of the numbers have been sent there, so please let's take advantage of that and communicate with these people so that those can be organized. Thank you. That was a good question. I think I got it now. Any other questions? If there are no questions, we thank you so much. Have a blessed day. We will meet again next Saturday and we will be dealing with council time in details. We'll be dealing with council time in details. So you are free to leave the meeting. If you want to have a question with the key guys, please remain in the meeting and we will be able to address those key questions.